Back from breaking better than ever. Welcome to Good Morning KU. I'm Brett Ivy.
And I'm Riley Buller.
Riley, first and foremost, how was your break, man?
Oh, it was great. I caught up on some sleep, went and visited a couple buddies up at Washburn in Topeka. It was great.
Good. You know, I did a lot of the same. I think I spent about 3 to 4 days in a coma just from pure sleep, and let me tell you, folks, absolutely beautiful. Would recommend it for sure. But I guess first and foremost, let's hit the big news out of Washington. The government shutdown is officially over. President Obama signed the new deal last night, right around midnight Eastern, 11 p.m. Central. And Riley, what do you think this will mean for kind of the future of what our government does and how they interact with one another?
I think that it means we're going to start deciding things before the final hour of everything, just before the very last second. And maybe we'll learn to work together a little more instead of just butting heads all the time. You
know, I think so. I think bipartisanship is something that's going to be, one of the main topics in any kind of government discussion from now on. I think working together is something that this government needs to do to help our people, and I think that's going to be definitely a main point of conversation moving on forward.
Yeah, and regardless of which side you're on, you're glad to see that the government shutdown is over and get to see our national parks back up and running.
And you can't forget about all the people that are going back to work as well. You know, we're not losing $28 billion that we lost during the shutdown. And so I think kind of getting things back going is going to be good for this country, good for the government, good for the people. But guess kind of moving on to tech news now, a pocket plug, which is an iPhone case that charges your phone, has come out recently. But Riley, it's a little bit different than most other phone cases, isn't that right?
Yeah, it's a little bit different. You can plug it straight into the wall, actually, which is kind of cool. I've had some experience with charging cases, and they're usually pretty fragile, and this one seems to be pretty solid. So
right, and what he means by plugging the wall, folks, is that there 2 prongs on there, so you get to point those out, and you can just plug it right in the wall. Very cool little thing. And Riley, I know myself, I don't have an iPhone, but I do have a very big problem with my phone dying pretty much on a daily basis. So I'm guessing having a case like this is going to help out a lot of people in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah, I'm an avid Angry Birds player, so I mean. You know, my phone's always dying.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that this will be flying off the shelves. I think it's a product that has a lot of potential. Definitely, I think a lot of interest will be seen in this as well. So now, moving on, we're going to move on to some sports news now. And Riley, baseball. We got the ALCS and the NLCS are in big swing right now. Boston and Detroit are tied up at 2-2. St. Louis is ahead of LA 3-2 in the National League. And Riley, I don't know about you, but this October has been getting me really excited for some baseball.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited for tonight. We got Boston and Detroit at 8 o'clock on Fox. That'll be a great one. Last couple of games have been awesome. That David Ortiz grand slam to win the game. I know you woke up your entire family with that.
I am. I'm a huge Red Sox fan. Some of you who've seen the show before know that. And yeah, it was really fun, really intense. It's really cool to see these teams playing hard. And even in the NL, there's been a lot of exciting games. You have the young Yasiel Puig for the Dodgers. Then you got the strong pitching staff from St. Louis. I think there's going to be a lot of definitely a lot more great games being played between all of these teams. But let's think forward to the World Series now. Who are your 2 picks to go into the Fall Classic?
I've got Boston and St. Louis.
Boston and St. Louis, who are you picking winning?
I am picking St. Louis to win it all.
St. Louis, you heard it here first, Riley Buller. All right, let's move on to some KU sports now. Volleyball swept the Texas Tech Red Raiders last night in 3 sets. Let's see, they're ranked 23rd in the nation now, Riley, which is for the first time since the beginning of the season. Chelsea Albers had 8 kills, 1 ace, and 6 blocks last night, alongside getting 13 digs. And so a big play from KU volleyball, Riley. What do you think?
Yeah, how about those Jayhawks? Aside from the loss to Texas, they've been completely dominant in the Big 12, and they've got the Mountaineers on their schedule next in
Morgantown.
In Morgantown. That'll be a great game. Can't wait to see that one.
Yep, it'll be good for sure. Moving on now to football as well. Oklahoma's coming in town on Saturday after losing to Texas. What's your preview for the game? What are you thinking?
Oklahoma's coming in with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder after losing to Texas. That was pretty embarrassing for them, and KU defense played pretty well in the TCU game, forcing 5 turnovers, but I really don't see Oklahoma committing that many errors, and go out to the game. It'll be great weather, but not so sure about the end of the game.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Game kicks off at 2:30 on Saturday, and that's going to do it for this block. But when we return, Ben will sit down with Student Senator Alek Joyce. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, KU. With me today is Alek, Joyce, one of the student senators here at KU. How are you doing today, bud?
Doing pretty well. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Thank you again for joining us. If you don't know, Alek is one of the student senators, as we just said. You're a journalism major, and not a lot of people know a whole lot about student senate. Like, how did you get into everything? How did your campaign go your freshman year?
Yeah, sure. So I went to school here in town. I went to Free State High School, and the president at the time was a graduate of Free State. So he stopped by our student council and gave us kind of a rundown of how student senate works. And coming from Free State Student Council, where we did bake sales and homecoming, it was pretty interesting to hear that actually here on campus, it's a lot more about advocacy, a lot more about really empowering student groups to get things done around campus. And so a lot of things that we do at Student Senate really appealed to me in a bigger way than just student council. So freshman year, I got onto campus. I had some friends here in town, but I decided to run with another freshman. And yeah, it was a really fun opportunity because my folks lived 3 blocks away. So I could go to my house and grab my bike and an air horn and go do circles around GSP and Corbin. Or I chalked all over the place, pretty much the traditional campaign stuff that you'll see every spring or fall. But no, it was a really fun opportunity, and that got me into Student Senate in general, and then the coalitions as the springs came through.
Speaking of coalitions, so one of the big stories on campus right now is that Senate, and correct me if I'm wrong, has been going through different voting processes to actually try to remove coalitions from being a part of the KU election period. Can you talk a little bit about, well, for one, what a coalition is for those who may not know, and what the process has been with this so far? Yeah,
absolutely. So the thing that KU's had for the last few decades is a coalition system where basically it's a party system where students get together of shared opinions and they run and support each other throughout the entire campaign process. It's usually spearheaded by a presidential candidate and a vice presidential candidate and maybe a campaign manager in there. And generally they'll recruit people to join. People will see those as kind of larger bodies, and they'll go to those and try and put together platform issues, come up with ideas, and really support, like I said, support each other through the entire process by getting the word out as one collective body rather than a lot of people running individually. And what we're seeing go through the Senate now is kind of a reevaluation of that, because in recent years we've seen one coalition, K United recently, it's gone by other names in the past, really dominate it, and it's kept people from joining. And so a bill's gone through, written by a few senators and staff members, to remove coalitions at large. Another kind of block of senators would rather us take a step back, reconsider the whole coalition process, and maybe see if there are some checks and balances that keep one coalition from ballooning to the size it is today without getting rid of the process in general.
I see. So how do you think this is going to affect, I guess, future elections? I mean, everyone who's been a student here knows that K United and under other names has been kind of the dominant, party for a while. How is this going to affect going forward, the parties?
It's a really interesting case seeing K United fall like it had this last year. I think we're in a position this year where multiple parties could really grow, and they could all have a very, very open discourse without us removing coalitions in general. If we were to see this go away, you'd see each individual person running by themselves. I think that might discourage people who don't know that they individually would want to run. At the same time, it might mean that new people run who didn't know about coalitions or didn't want to join a coalition in the first place. So it's really up in the air, and that's what we're trying to figure out here in the Student Senate as we pass these bills.
I see. Well, we'll get you out on one final thing that everyone is always excited about, and that's food. You're the creator of Free Food at KU, which many people I'm sure are aware of. How did that start?
So Free Food at KU started when my friend Chris Velasco and I were working here in the union, and every day we saw one different thing going on. There's always some conference or always some meeting, and they were all catered. And so for weeks at a time, we were eating our lunches just based on the free food that was here at the union. Until one day, there wasn't any free food. And we were like, where's the free food? What are we gonna do? There should be one place to go to find it. And within 20 minutes of saying that, we had already created the account, made a profile picture, and went from there. And it's skyrocketed. I mean, we have about 4,300 followers as of now, and it's really fun for only 2.5 years of work.
Well, you've heard it here, folks. If you're trying to look for good free food at KU, go to Free Food at KU on Twitter. And Alex, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and hope you have a great rest of the semester.
Thanks, you too.
So, When we come back, we'll have Rebeka and Caitlin with the news. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Rebeka. Here's your Good Morning KU news. Long waits to get on an airplane may be a thing of the past. One idea uses solar-powered ramps to board passengers through the front and rear door of the plane. A second option is seats that slide out of the way. The last option requires passengers to board every other row. All of these methods are in the testing process.
Facebook loosened its privacy settings to allow teens more freedom to post to the public. A new follow feature allows posts to be seen in all news feeds and not exclusively on friends' news feeds. Facebook supported this move, saying other social media sites like Twitter and Instagram allow teenagers to express themselves publicly.
Oreo cookies are the drug of a new generation. According to a study from Connecticut College, lab rats find Oreo cookies to be as addictive as cocaine. Examination of rats' brains found a high activity in the pleasure center after eating an Oreo. A single serving of 3 cookies delivers 14 grams of sugar and 7 grams of fat.
Cosmetic surgery for males has spiked 22% since 2002. This is the most common in the baby boomer generation because they have pressure to look younger, especially in today's job market.
KU's Student Senate issued a resolution stating its disapproval of KU administration's omission of students in a decision to sell 8.87 acres of the Baker wetlands to the Kansas Department of Transportation. KDOT needs the land to complete the South Lawrence Trafficway. The land, which sold for $36,000, is a part of 20 acres of wetlands southwest of 31st Street and Haskell. KU has owned the land since the 1950s. KU officials maintain that they did not exclude students from the decision-making process.
The Major League Baseball playoffs continued last night with the Tigers and Dodgers picking up the wins. Detroit evened up their series with Boston at 2 games apiece with a 7-3 victory. Los Angeles beat St. Louis 6-4, but still trail 3 games to 2. That's it for the news today. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Rebeka. We'll be right back with Brett and Riley.
Tell you what, Riley, these are good. Oh, welcome back. Well, we were just enjoying some of our Oreos, and let me tell you, folks, that being addictive, they are completely correct. I can never stop eating Oreos. All right, so anyway, let's get back to some news, shall we? The first basketball poll comes out at noon today, and Riley, Kansas basketball is predicted to be in the top 10. Where are you placing them at?
I'm counting down the minutes, but I'd be surprised if the Jayhawks were any lower than 5.
Mm-hmm. Really? Okay. See,
Yeah.
I've been gauging the polls. I'm thinking they got to be somewhere around 7. Right now, they're young enough, they're talented, but I think they need a little bit more experience before they start climbing up the polls.
I think we'll see Oklahoma State in the top 10 as well. So
Definitely
a game to watch out for.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that.
Yep, it's gonna be some good stuff. Well, folks, that's gonna do it for us today. For Good Morning KU, I'm Brett.
And I'm Riley.
Have a good day, folks.